Yo, guys, Urban Barz brings you the best UK reactions to rap, hip hop, and urban music from all around the world. And guys, we've been on our NF journey for a long while now, guys. We've covered mansions, therapy session, we've covered moments, and we've just finished perception. So, guys, I thought it was about time here at Urban Bars that we got to know a bit more about NF from NF himself. I've deliberately kept clear on all of my reactions from even mentioning the name of Eminem. I know they're from the same state, Michigan State, etc., hanging out in Detroit, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. But I've definitely just kept them from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. But guys, we've got NF now, and he's actually talking about Eminem. So it's about time to check out our man NF, Nathaniel Feuerstein, and he's talking about Marshall Mathers, Eminem. Guys, let's check this out.
I also felt like as an artist, it started to make me mature more. My sound started to mature more because all I listened to for like 4 years straight was Eminem.
So he just said that as an artist, he wanted to, sort of build his own image around everything. But he just said himself just now that for 4 years straight, all he listened to was Eminem. So if you listen to someone or to some genre of music or to some specific music for a long period of time, it's more or less just natural that that is going to sort of wash off on you and to start to come out through what you do yourself. Not necessarily, it doesn't always have to, but trust me on this, guys. Bits and pieces will come through, but let's check out what our man NF's got to say.
That was it, And obviously, when that's all you listen to, it's a huge, he was a huge influence. So it was like you could hear it in my music too much. But
there you go. He's just confirmed it. So he's just saying, our man NF, that there was too much influence from Eminem in his music. It was filtering through all the way through, like when you squeeze a sponge, it all just emanates and comes through and comes out. So I think our man NF was saying that he had to take maybe a step back and maybe to rediscover who is NF, who is the real NF. He doesn't want to be a facsimile of someone else. He doesn't want to be a carbon copy. He doesn't want to emulate someone else. Yes, maybe take one or two strings from their bow, but then turn it into your own ensemble. Really?
I didn't understand that, I was just like, oh, I want to rap this way, And
recently there was this whole thing on the...
I just want to stop that. Just you wind back to here.
And
oh, sugar. Really? If you wind back
just...
to... How old is our man NF here? He looks double young, double young. I know he's been in this for like 10 years or something like that. I'm not sure. But here he looks double young. So we're jumping from one interview to another. So this was for the dark side. So we're jumping from this interview to, I'm not sure which is the next one, guys.
Like, oh, I want to rap this way, And
recently there was this whole thing on the internet about top 50 MCs, and we know it's a really big thing in rap. And you've spoken about it on one of your records about you don't care about being top 10, etc., etc. I'm not going to ask you to name your top 50 MCs, but do you have a top 5?
I would say Eminem's definitely top 5, if not number 1 for me. Kendrick is amazing. Yeah, I don't know if I have an exact top 5.
So he's mentioned Eminem, Kendrick Lamar. To be fair, I've not really listened to Kendrick Lamar, people, so I'm really old school. So the new school MCs, new school rappers, new school artists, I don't know so much about them, so I can't even give you my opinion of Kendrick Lamar. I know all about Marshall Mathers, so I can give you an opinion on him, but Kendrick Lamar, I can't give you an opinion, hearsay, or which way or another way. I can't do that, people.
I'll admit that it's hard for me. For Royce the 5'9" is one of my top 5 FY.
Royce the 5'9", I know he's down with Eminem. I know a little bit about Royce the 5'9", but not as much as I should do. But there you go.
He's obviously
he's
a
amazing.
Detroit, Michigan, hero, hometown hero.
Yeah, he's amazing.
But what about top 5 M songs?
I'd say The Way I Am.
Yeah, that's my favorite. The Way I Am. Really? I think that's everyone's favorite. I mean, when I first heard it, I've got so many different mixes of The Way I Am. It's just an incredible track. Incredible.
That cadence is crazy.
That song is ridiculous. I think the Eminem Show is one of the best like albums ever. White America, Cleaning Out My Closet, Sing for the Moment. There's so many dope songs. I don't know.
I noticed I don't know if everybody would have caught it, but in the When I Grow Up video, you had the reference to the Marshall Mathers where you're dragging the garbage out.
Guys, that is so funny because on my NF journey, this was the first ever NF track I'd ever heard or ever covered, I think. And you guys told me the way to do an NF whatever is to go back to the very beginning and to check his songs like chronologically. And that's what I've been doing. I've done 4 albums chronologically, people. The only new NF songs I've covered is Hope and Motto. So I don't know all the ins and outs and what's going on with NF, you know what I'm saying, like in the last so many years, because I've been going all the way back to the beginning and I've absolutely loved the journey. I mean, in my opinion, Perception's my favorite album out of all of them, and that's the last one I've just covered. I've just finished that. But in doing this one, When I Grow Up, I remember that's like, you know, having from a baby, when I grow up, I want to be whatever, blah, 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 blah. So that's really, really weird that was the first NF track I ever heard. I'm just going to wheel it back a little bit, guys. Just check them out.
If everybody would have caught it, but in the When I Grow Up video, you had the reference to the Marshall Mathers where you're dragging the garbage out.
Oh, I wasn't doing it for that. I was doing
But do you know how exact it looks? There was a photograph in that album rollout, and you look, it's a spitting image. I don't know how many.
I've got to check that out again, guys, because that's a long time ago now. It was a year and a bit ago, maybe a year ago. So I can't remember When I Grow Up. I think I remember the bit where they're in the nursery in the class, but he's a little boy and there's a couple of girls around and the teacher's asking him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the really funny thing about When I Grow Up, and I'm just thinking about this now, it reminds me of the old Snoop Dogg track on his first album, when he said to Snoop, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he goes, yo, when I grow up, I want to be an MF gangster. I want to be an MF gangster. Guys, I don't swear on my channel, so you just need to fill in the blanks. I love that track. And it was all with the G-Funk, Snoop Doggy Dogg. And he goes, I want to be a gangster. But you need to check that. If you're old school, you know what I'm talking about, guys. So it's the same sort of thing like with our man NF. What do you want to be when you grow up? So if you go back chronologically, you'll see, you know, there's nothing new in hip hop, people. There's nothing new under the sun. It's all cyclical. It's all come and gone at some stage or another. It's just different interpretations, people. Just different interpretations. Guys, I'm old school. I've been here since day one, guys. Trust me on this. I've seen it all come. I've seen it all go. And I've seen it all come again, guys. Trust me on this.
Marshall Mathers LP. Yeah, I know what photo you're talking about, but I wasn't doing it for that. I was working at a fast food place hauling trash.
Yeah. I also felt like as an artist.
So he just said that he was working at a fast food place hauling trash.
I also felt.
Well, that video finished pretty quick, didn't it? So the title of this is called NF Talks About Eminem. So didn't really learn too much about Eminem there. All I've learned from NF on the little pastiche there is that he listened to NF for about 4 years straight. Oh, the studio's starting to fall to pieces. Really? Anyway, so listened to NF for about 4 years straight. He said that he was getting a lot of influences coming through in his music from from Eminem. So he must have had to sort of like downplay that a little bit and stop listening to Eminem too much, just to bring out what's inside himself. Who is the real NF? What's the real music behind NF? Because you didn't want to be a facsimile, a clone, an emulation, you know, a carbon copy of Eminem. He needed to be himself. So in those kind of situations, guys, the best thing to do is when you want to listen to music and to write music, and then when you want to make your own music, is to all the influences you've got, put them to one side, forget about them for a little bit, and just find out who you really are, people. Trust me on that. Trust me, that find out who you really are, and you'll be amazed, because the person inside you will shine through. That's all I'm going to say, guys. So here at Urb'n Barz, that was interesting. So I want to do a lot more digging into NF. Who is the real NF? What is the influences behind him? I know a lot of the bits and pieces that he's put out on wax, but is there anything else that we need to know about NF guys, let me know down here in the comment section. So I hope you enjoyed that. So that was NF Talks About Eminem, and I want to find out a lot more about my man NF, because yeah, he's dropped the new couple of singles, Hope and Motto, and they were so good. So I'm hoping to catch up, guys. I'm playing catch up here, but you know what I'm saying, guys? It's interesting just following the journey, and I'm going to take it at the pace that it needs to be taken at. And guys, if I've missed the bus, I've missed the bus, but it is what it is, and it wasn't what it wasn't. But here we go, guys. Have a great weekend. Look after yourselves, look after each other, but make certain, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe to Urb'n Barz, and also make certain you come back to the next Urb'n Barz reaction, guys.